The notebook lay open on my kitchen table long after sunrise. I had not slept. Every few minutes, I found myself looking toward the final page, half expecting the ink to disappear, half terrified that another name would appear beside the last one. Neither happened. My own name remained exactly where it had been written, dark and unmistakable, as if the page had accepted me long before I had ever stepped onto the train. The line beneath it remained occupied by the name of someone from my family. Emma Carter. My younger sister. I read it over and over until the letters stopped looking like words. Emma was 24 years old. She lived nearly 400 miles away in Portland, worked as an emergency room nurse, and had never shown the slightest interest in old ghost stories or abandoned railway stations. She didn't even know Blackwood existed. So why was her name in the notebook? I reached for my phone. It rang 3 times before she answered. Daniel. Her voice sounded sleepy. You okay? I closed my eyes for a second, trying to slow my breathing. When was the last time you talked to Grandpa? She laughed quietly. You called me at 7 in the morning to ask that. I'm serious. There was a pause. Years ago. No. I mean after he died. Another pause. What kind of question is that? I just need an answer. I haven't. She sounded more confused than annoyed now. Daniel, are you all right? I looked down at the notebook. No. The word escaped before I realized I had spoken it. I'm not. Silence stretched between us. Then she softened her voice. Did something happen? I wanted to tell her everything. The cassette. The train. Grandpa. The notebook. But every explanation sounded insane before it even reached my lips. Instead, I asked the only question that mattered. Has anyone contacted you recently? What do you mean? Unknown numbers? No. Letters? No. Old photographs? She laughed again. Daniel, you're scaring me. I almost told her. Almost. Instead I said. If anything strange happens. What kind of strange? Call me immediately. She hesitated. I will. We hung up. For nearly an hour I sat motionless. Then my phone vibrated. A message from Emma. A photograph. It showed the front porch of her apartment building. At first I didn't understand why she had sent it. Then I zoomed in. Leaning against her front door was a small wooden box. The exact same kind my grandfather had left behind. My heart stopped. I called her instantly. No answer. Again. Nothing. Again. Voicemail. I grabbed my keys without thinking. Portland was over 6 hours away by car. I never made it out of town. A freight train blocked the highway crossing. It seemed ordinary enough. Except, it wasn't moving. The engine was running. The lights were on. But the cars simply sat across the road. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Drivers began getting out of their vehicles. One man walked toward the crossing. He waved at the engineer. No response. Another climbed over the lowered barrier. He reached the first freight car. And froze. He backed away slowly. Someone shouted. What is it? The man never answered. Instead, he pointed. People gathered beside the tracks. Curiosity pulled me forward before common sense could stop me. When I reached the front of the crowd, I understood. There was no engine. No engineer. No crew. The freight train ended after the first car. The rest of it simply disappeared into a wall of thick white fog. Not natural fog. A solid curtain. Like someone had painted the air. One police officer arrived. Then another. They walked toward it cautiously. The first stepped inside. He never came back. The second followed. Gone. No screams. No footsteps. Nothing. Just silence. A woman beside me whispered. Where did they go? Nobody answered. Then, from somewhere inside the fog, a whistle echoed. Long. Low. Ancient. Every hair on my arm stood up. Someone behind me screamed. The tracks. The rails had begun vibrating. Not violently. Almost gently. Like something impossibly heavy was approaching from very far away. The fog rolled backward. Slowly. Patiently. And for one impossible second, I saw another platform. Not this crossing. Not this town. Another station entirely. Old brick walls. Rusted lanterns. A station clock frozen at exactly 11:47. Standing beneath it was a man wearing a conductor's uniform. Black coat. Silver buttons. Old-fashioned cap. His face remained hidden beneath the brim. He wasn't looking at the crowd. He was looking directly at me. Then he lifted one white-gloved hand. Not waving. Inviting. The whistle sounded again. The vision vanished. The crossing returned to normal. The fog evaporated. The missing freight cars reappeared. The police officers stood beside the tracks looking completely confused, as though they had never disappeared at all. Traffic resumed. People drove away muttering about weather, electrical failures, optical illusions. Only I remained standing. Because I knew. The train had noticed me. By the time I reached Portland, the sun had disappeared. Emma opened her apartment door before I could knock. You look terrible. So do you. She frowned. What? There were dark circles beneath her eyes. Not ordinary exhaustion. She looked like someone who hadn't slept in days. When did that box arrive? Her expression changed immediately. How did you know? My stomach tightened. You opened it? She nodded slowly. I thought it was from you. What was inside? She looked past me into the hallway before answering. A cassette. I closed my eyes. Of course. And she swallowed. There was a note. What did it say? She whispered the words exactly as I had expected. Do not listen after midnight. I didn't need to ask the next question. You listened. She nodded. I thought it was some kind of joke. What happened? Emma looked toward her living room. I've been hearing trains. The apartment was silent. No television. No music. No neighbors. Nothing. Then, very faintly, I heard it too. Metal wheels. Far away. Rolling across unseen tracks. Emma's face turned pale. You hear it? Yes. It only happens after sunset. She stepped closer. It gets louder every night. I walked into her apartment. The wooden box rested on the coffee table. Exactly like Grandpa's. Same scratches. Same lock. Same faded wood. Except, this one had no dust. It looked new. Waiting. I reached inside. The cassette lay exactly where hers had been. But there was something mine had never contained. A ticket. Yellowed with age. Printed in faded black ink. Blackwood Station. 1 passenger. No return. On the back, someone had written 3 words. I turned the ticket over once more. There was nothing else written on it. No date. No train number. No seat assignment. Just those 3 words. Not this time. Emma stood beside me, watching my face more than the ticket itself. You know what this means, don't you? No. She frowned. You're lying. I looked toward the window. Outside, rain had begun to fall across the parking lot, covering the asphalt in shimmering reflections. The city looked perfectly ordinary. People carried groceries. A teenager walked his dog. Traffic lights changed from green to red. Normal life. And yet somewhere beneath all of it, the train was moving. I wish I were lying. Emma folded her arms. You drove 6 hours because of a wooden box. Yes. You already knew there would be a cassette. Yes. You knew there would be a ticket. I didn't. She stared at me. Daniel. Her voice became quieter. What's happening? I remained silent for several seconds. There was no gentle way to tell someone that reality wasn't what they believed it was. So I told her everything. Not pieces. Not half the truth. Everything. I told her about Grandpa's recording. The abandoned station. The notebook. The passengers. The impossible train. The old man who had stepped off it looking exactly as he had 20 years before. The final page. Her name. By the time I finished, the rain had become a storm. Emma hadn't interrupted once. She simply sat on the couch, staring at the floor. Finally she asked, "Do you believe everything you just told me?" I saw it. People imagine things. I brought proof. I placed the notebook on the table. She opened it carefully. Hundreds of names. Every page filled with dates stretching back decades. Then centuries. Her fingers slowed. Daniel. What? These dates. I leaned closer. She was right. I hadn't noticed before. The earliest entries weren't from the 20th century. Nor the 19th. One page listed names from 1884. Another from 1849. Then another. 1812. My heartbeat quickened. I flipped backward. Older. 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 The ink changed. The handwriting changed. The paper itself became darker and more fragile. The earliest page we could still read carried a date that made my stomach tighten. November 3, 1761. This notebook, Emma whispered, is older than Grandpa. Much older. I turned another page. Blank. Then another. Blank. Until finally, a single sentence appeared across both pages. Unlike the names, this had not been written by hand. The letters looked burned into the paper itself. Every passenger believes they are the first. A cold breeze moved through the apartment. Neither of us had opened a window. The lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then the sound returned. Far away. Steel wheels. Rolling across tracks. Closer than before. Emma's face lost what little color remained. It's early. What? It usually doesn't start until after dark. The sound grew louder. Not loud enough for the neighbors. Only for us. Almost as though the train had chosen who was allowed to hear it. A sharp knock echoed through the apartment. 3 slow knocks. Neither of us moved. Another 3. Then silence. Emma looked toward the front door. I wasn't expecting anyone. I walked across the room. Looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. Completely empty. I opened the door anyway. Nothing. No footsteps. No elevator. No voices. Only a small envelope lying on the welcome mat. No stamp. No address. Only one word. Daniel. My pulse quickened. I opened it carefully. Inside was a photograph. Black and white. Old. At first I didn't recognize it. Then I noticed the station clock. 11:47. Blackwood. The platform was crowded. Dozens of passengers stood beside the train. Some wore clothing from the 1950s. Others from the 1920s. One man wore what looked like a Civil War uniform. Time meant nothing in the photograph. Everyone from every era stood together. My eyes drifted toward the center. There I saw Grandpa. Standing beside him was another man. Tall. Thin. Wearing the conductor's uniform. Unlike my grandfather, his face was perfectly clear. I had never seen him before. Yet somehow, he looked familiar. Emma took the photograph from my hand. Her breathing stopped. Daniel. What? She pointed toward the conductor. I know him. I laughed nervously. No, you don't. I do. That's impossible. I've seen him. Where? She looked at me with genuine fear. In my dreams. The apartment suddenly fell silent. Even the sound of the unseen train disappeared. For several long seconds there was nothing. Then Emma whispered something so quietly I barely heard it. He always asks the same question. What question? She closed her eyes, as if hearing the memory again. Then she spoke in a voice that wasn't entirely her own. Which station do you wish you had never left? The lights went out. Darkness swallowed the apartment. Rain hammered against the windows. Somewhere inside the room, someone inhaled. Not me. Not Emma. Someone else. A match struck. A tiny orange flame appeared near the hallway. Holding it stood an old man in a dark railway uniform. Not transparent. Not glowing. Completely solid. His silver pocket watch reflected the flame. Tick. 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 He looked at Emma first. Then at me. Without moving his lips. Both of us heard his voice. You are late. I reached for the flashlight on my phone. The screen refused to turn on. The old man smiled. Not kindly. Patiently. Like someone greeting passengers who had finally arrived. He raised the match slightly higher. I have been waiting. The flame extinguished itself. The lights came back. The hallway was empty. No old man. No smoke. No footsteps. Nothing. Only one thing remained on the wooden floor where he had been standing. Another ticket. This one carried 2 seat numbers. Car 7. Seats 11 and 12. Emma picked it up with trembling fingers. There was fresh ink on the back. The letters were still spreading across the paper as though an invisible hand were writing them. Together we watched the message finish itself. Departure, tomorrow. 11:47 p.m. Blackwood Station. Attendance required. Neither of us spoke. Because deep down, we both understood. This wasn't an invitation. It was a summons. The word lingered in the apartment long after the ink stopped moving. Attendance required. Not requested. Not suggested. Required. Emma slowly lowered the ticket onto the coffee table as though touching it any longer might burn her hand. We're not going. I wanted to agree. Every rational thought told me to tear the ticket apart, burn the notebook, and drive as far from Blackwood as the roads would allow. Instead, I picked the ticket back up. The paper felt warm. Not warm from my hand. Warm as if it had only just come from a machine. A train ticket freshly printed. I slipped it into my jacket. Emma stared at me. What are you doing? I need to understand it. No. She stepped in front of me. You said Grandpa escaped. I did. And he said the train came back. She shook her head. Then we're leaving. We can't. Why? I didn't answer. Because I wasn't sure whether I truly believed what I was about to say. or whether the notebook had already begun changing the way I thought. It already knows where we are. Neither of us slept that night. The rain continued until dawn. Every hour, the sound of distant wheels echoed somewhere beneath the city. Sometimes faint. Sometimes so loud it seemed to pass directly underneath the apartment building. By morning it had stopped completely. Emma made coffee. Neither of us drank it. Instead we sat across from each other with the notebook lying between us like evidence in a murder investigation. "I've been thinking." I looked up. "If Grandpa wanted you to have this." She rested one hand on the notebook. "Maybe he left instructions." "I already searched everything." "You searched for answers." She opened the book. "But maybe you weren't asking the right question." I frowned. "What do you mean?" She began turning pages. Not quickly. Carefully. Studying every margin. Every stain. Every tiny mark. After nearly 20 minutes she stopped. "Daniel." "What?" "These aren't stains." She rotated the notebook toward me. Tiny brown spots covered the edge of one page. Random at first glance. Until I noticed the pattern. Dots. Lines. Short. Long. My pulse quickened. Morse code. "You can read it?" "A little." Grandpa had taught me years ago during camping trips. I hadn't used it since I was 12. I found a pencil. Copied each symbol onto a blank sheet of paper. Dot. Dash. Dash. Dot. Letter after letter. The message slowly appeared. "Look beneath the clock." Emma whispered. "What clock?" Only one came to mind. Blackwood Station. By noon we were back on the road. Neither of us talked much. The highway stretched endlessly ahead while gray clouds covered the sky. Emma finally broke the silence. "Tell me about Grandpa." I smiled faintly. "What about him?" "The real him." I kept my eyes on the road. He never raised his voice. He loved old jazz records. He fixed everything himself. He hated wasting food. He always wore the same brown jacket. The one on the train. Yeah. She looked out the window. "I barely remember him." "He adored you." She smiled sadly. "I know." A few miles later she asked. "Do you think he's still alive?" The question hung in the air. "I don't know." "You saw him." "I know." "You talked to him." "I know." "So." I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. "He remembered me. He remembered Mom. He remembered things from 20 years ago." I hesitated. But what? He didn't remember today." Emma turned toward me. "What do you mean?" "When I asked him how long he'd been on the train." I swallowed. He answered. "Only a few hours." Neither of us spoke again for nearly an hour. Blackwood Station looked different in daylight. Not less frightening. Older. As though every visit stripped away another layer of time. The parking lot was empty. No tire tracks. No birds. No insects. Even the wind seemed unwilling to cross the property. We walked through the broken entrance together. The station clock still showed 11:47. Frozen. Waiting. Beneath the clock. Emma looked upward. "It's 10 feet off the ground." I scanned the walls. An old maintenance ladder still leaned against the far platform. Rust covered every rung. "I'll climb." Emma grabbed my sleeve. "Be careful." The metal groaned beneath my weight. Halfway up I noticed something strange. The dust ended. The bricks surrounding the clock looked cleaner. As if someone had touched them recently. I reached the top. Ran my fingers beneath the wooden frame. Nothing. Then. A hollow sound. I knocked again. One brick echoed differently from the others. There. What? It's loose. I pulled. The brick slid forward surprisingly easily. Behind it, a small leather pouch. Dark with age. I climbed down carefully. Emma opened it. Inside were 3 objects. A silver pocket watch. A folded map. And a brass key no larger than my thumb. The pocket watch had stopped. At exactly 11:47. Emma unfolded the map. Neither of us recognized it. It wasn't a railway map. It wasn't a city. Instead it showed dozens of stations connected by impossible rail lines. Some names had been crossed out. Others circled. One name appeared at the center. Blackwood. Surrounding it were places neither of us had ever heard of. Ash Hollow. Grey Crossing. Hawthorne Junction. Raven's End. Silent Harbor. Every line eventually led back to Blackwood. As though every railway in existence converged there. Emma pointed toward the bottom corner. Tiny handwriting. Grandpa's. The stations move. Never trust the map twice. A chill crawled up my spine. What does that even mean? Before I could answer, a voice echoed through the station. Not loud. Almost conversational. You found them. We spun around. A man stood at the opposite end of the platform. Perhaps 70 years old. Long gray coat. Walking stick. Round glasses. He looked completely ordinary. Which somehow made him more terrifying. Because ordinary people weren't supposed to be here. He smiled politely. I was beginning to think Thomas had hidden them too well. I stepped in front of Emma. Who are you? My name isn't important. How do you know my grandfather? We traveled together. When? The old man checked an old wristwatch. It depends. I frowned. What does that mean? He chuckled. Time is an unreliable companion once you've ridden the last train. Emma whispered. Daniel. But I couldn't look away. The old man nodded toward the notebook sticking out of my backpack. You've inherited the ledger. I froze. You know what it is. I know what it costs. He sighed. Thomas carried it for 28 years. Then he made the mistake of giving it to you. I took one cautious step forward. You can explain all this. Yes. Then start talking. His smile disappeared. The conductor has already begun counting. What counting? The replacements. A long silence followed. The old man's eyes drifted toward the broken tracks beyond the station. He has never needed only one before. Emma's breathing caught. What does that mean? The old man looked directly at us. It means, for the first time in over 200 years, the train has asked for 2 passengers instead of 1. The station became impossibly quiet. Then, somewhere far beneath the earth, 2 train whistles answered each other. One. Then another. Coming from different directions. The second whistle echoed for nearly 10 seconds before fading into a silence so complete that it seemed to swallow the entire station. The old man closed his eyes. I prayed I would never hear 2 whistles again. I stepped toward him. You still haven't told us who you are. He looked at me for a long moment, as though deciding whether I deserved the truth. My name is Samuel Whitmore. The name meant nothing to either of us. I boarded the train in 1968. Emma frowned. But you? I should be dead. Samuel smiled faintly. So should your grandfather. He tapped the walking stick against the cracked platform. Time isn't stolen on that train. It is, exchanged. I looked down at Grandpa's pocket watch. What does that mean? Samuel pointed toward the frozen station clock. When a passenger boards, the train offers something. One last conversation. One forgotten memory. One impossible reunion. The longer you accept its gift, the more of your own future it takes. I remembered Grandpa's face. He had looked exactly the same as 20 years earlier. Not because he had survived. Because he had stopped moving through time. Samuel continued. I escaped after 3 days. I returned to a world that had lost 34 years. Emma whispered. So Grandpa spent only a few hours aboard. Samuel nodded. And the world lost decades. A cold realization settled over me. The train wasn't merely carrying passengers. It was feeding on time itself. Samuel's eyes fell to the notebook. The ledger chooses the next keeper. The keeper. The one who records every soul the train claims. I instinctively tightened my grip on my backpack. My grandfather. Yes. And now? You. Emma shook her head. No. Samuel's expression became grave. You misunderstand. He looked directly at her. It chose both of you. Before either of us could speak, a sharp metallic click echoed somewhere behind the station. Then another. One after another. Like switches being thrown beneath the earth. The abandoned rails began trembling. Dust drifted from the broken roof. Samuel's face turned pale. We're out of time. He reached inside his coat and removed an old brass compass. Except, instead of pointing north, its needle pointed toward the tracks. It began spinning wildly. Then stopped. Straight ahead. Toward the darkness beyond Blackwood. Samuel quietly placed the compass in my hand. You'll need this. For what? It never points toward places. It points toward. He stopped speaking. His eyes widened. Not at me. Not at Emma. Behind us. Slowly. Very slowly. We turned. The platform was empty. Or at least, it had been. Now someone stood beneath the frozen clock. A tall figure dressed in black. Hands folded behind his back. The same conductor's cap. The same immaculate coat. The same white gloves. He had appeared without a sound. Without footsteps. Without the train. The conductor. Even from across the platform, I could feel him watching us. No. Measuring us. Samuel whispered. Don't move. The conductor tilted his head slightly. Almost curiously. Then, with impossible slowness, he removed one white glove. His left hand was covered in black ink. Not stained. Made of ink. It dripped silently onto the platform. Each drop landed with a soft ticking sound instead of a splash. Tick. 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 The notebook inside my backpack suddenly became heavier. So heavy that I nearly dropped it. The pages began turning by themselves. Wind raced through the abandoned station although the trees outside remained perfectly still. Emma gasped. Daniel. I pulled the notebook free. The pages refused to stop. Names flashed past faster and faster. Hundreds. Thousands. Different centuries. Different handwriting. Different lives. Finally, the pages stopped. The last page. My name. Emma's name. Then, a third line slowly appeared. No invisible pen. No spreading ink. The paper itself darkened until letters emerged from within it. Samuel Whitmore. Samuel closed his eyes. I was wondering when it would find me. The conductor raised one finger. Not toward Samuel. Toward the notebook. Every name written inside it suddenly disappeared. Every page became blank. Except the final one. Only 3 names remained. Daniel Carter. Emma Carter. Samuel Whitmore. Nothing else. Centuries of passengers. Gone. Samuel stared at the empty pages in horror. It has never done that. What does it mean? I asked. His voice barely escaped his lips. It isn't collecting passengers anymore. It's... He looked directly at the conductor. Starting over. The conductor slowly smiled. It wasn't cruel. It wasn't kind. It was the smile of someone whose plan had taken centuries to unfold. He placed the white glove back onto his inked black hand. Then he spoke for the first time. His voice wasn't loud. It carried effortlessly across the empty station. I have kept the timetable. For 265 years. I have welcomed every passenger. I have honored every bargain. And now. He looked directly into my eyes. The final journey begins. The station clock moved. For the first time since I had discovered Blackwood. The minute hand shifted. One click. 11:47. Became 11:48. A deep rumble rolled beneath the earth. Not one train. Many. Dozens of whistles answered from impossible distances. The abandoned rails burst into life, glowing faintly beneath layers of rust. The map Grandpa had hidden unfolded by itself inside Emma's hands. The names of the stations began disappearing. Ash Hollow. Gone. Gray Crossing. Gone. Silent Harbor. Gone. One by one. Every station vanished from the map. Until only one remained. Blackwood. Then even that name slowly dissolved. Leaving the map completely blank. Samuel whispered the words that froze my blood. When every station disappears, there will only be one destination left. The conductor tipped his cap. The platform blinked. And he was gone. No footsteps. No train. Nothing. Only the faint smell of coal smoke lingering in the cold night air. None of us spoke for almost a full minute. Finally, Emma broke the silence. Daniel. I looked at the blank notebook. The motionless pocket watch. The empty map. The compass whose needle had begun spinning once again. Somewhere far away. One final whistle echoed through the darkness. Long. Low. Patient. Waiting. I suddenly realized something that Grandpa had never had the chance to tell me. We hadn't inherited his fight. We had inherited its ending. None of us moved. The platform was silent once again. The conductor was gone. The rails no longer trembled. Only the cold night air drifted through the broken station, carrying the faint scent of coal smoke. I looked down at the notebook. Every page was blank. Centuries of names. Gone. As though the train had erased every trace of those it had taken. The pocket watch in my hand remained frozen at 11:48 p.m. For the first time in more than 2 centuries. Time had moved. Only 1 minute. Yet somehow, that single minute had changed everything. Samuel lowered his head. I've spent 58 years trying to understand that train. His voice was calm. Almost defeated. And tonight, it broke the oldest rule. Emma looked at him. What rule? Samuel's eyes remained fixed on the empty tracks. For centuries, the last train searched for passengers. He swallowed. But tonight, it began searching for something else. Before I could ask another question, the brass compass in my hand started vibrating. Its needle spun faster and faster. Round and round. Again. Again. Then. It stopped. Not toward the tracks. Not toward Blackwood. It pointed somewhere beyond the forest. Toward a place that wasn't on Grandpa's map. Emma whispered. Daniel. We looked into the darkness. At first, there was nothing. Then a single lantern appeared. Its warm yellow light floated between the trees. Beside it stood the shadow of an old station sign. The fog shifted for only a second. Just long enough for one word to become visible. End. The lantern flickered. Once. Twice. Then disappeared. The station sign vanished with it. At that exact moment, the notebook grew warm in my hands. Words slowly emerged across the final page. Not another name. Not another date. Only 6 words. The last stop has awakened. No one spoke. Somewhere deep within the darkness, a lone train whistle echoed once more. Long. Low. Patient. It didn't sound like it was leaving. It sounded like it was waiting. And for the first time since this nightmare began, I realized something far more terrifying than the train itself. Blackwood was never the final destination. It was only the beginning. If Blackwood was only the beginning, then what is waiting at the last stop? We'll find out in the next video.